Welcome back to our TonAI podcast, where we delve into the latest developments in artificial intelligence. I'm Lane Galine, and I'm here with my co-host Nike. Nike, did you hear the news?
What news?
Andreas Braun, CTO of Microsoft Germany, recently announced that GPT-4 will be introduced this week.
Wow, that's exciting. I can't wait to see what new features it has.
Yeah, but before we jump into the latest and greatest, let's take a moment to appreciate the groundbreaking advancements made with GPT-1, GPT-2, and GPT-3. These models have paved the way for the next generation of natural language processing technology.
So, we'll explore the different GPT models that have been developed and the groundbreaking work that researchers have done to improve them.
We'll also discuss the challenges that researchers have faced in developing these models, such as data bias and ethical concerns.
And we'll talk about how these models are being used today in a variety of industries, from finance to healthcare.
GPT-1 was truly a game changer in the field of natural language processing. It was the first model in the GPT series, which has since been expanded to include GPT-2 and GPT-3. Nike, can you tell us more about the development of GPT-1?
Absolutely, Lane Galine. GPT-1 was developed by OpenAI with the goal of creating a model that could generate coherent and natural-sounding language. The researchers decided to use the transformer architecture, which had been introduced in a research paper by Google researchers in 2017.
That's right. The transformer is a highly effective neural network architecture for modeling sequential data, such as natural language. To train GPT-1, the researchers used a large corpus of text from the internet, which consisted of over 40 gigabytes of text data.
They used a variant of the transformer architecture called the decoder-only transformer, which is designed to generate output sequences. The model was pre-trained on this large corpus of text using a technique called unsupervised pre-training, which involved training the model to predict the next word in a sentence based on the previous words.
Once pre-trained, GPT-1 was fine-tuned on a range of specific natural language processing tasks, including text classification, question answering, and language translation. The fine-tuning process involved training the model on a smaller dataset of labeled data, which allowed it to learn task-specific features and improve its performance on those tasks.
One of the things that makes GPT-1 so versatile is its ability to generate coherent and natural-sounding language. This feature can be used for tasks such as text generation and language translation.
And let's not forget about the model's unsupervised pre-training, which allowed it to learn a wide range of language features without the need for explicit human supervision. This is a powerful capability that has been instrumental in the success of GPT models.
And GPT-1's large model size of 117 million parameters allowed it to capture a wide range of language features and generate complex language output.
It's amazing to think about how GPT-1 has paved the way for the development of even more advanced GPT models, such as GPT-2 and GPT-3.
And it's also worth noting that one Ghanaian CDIS was released by OpenAI with an open-source license, which allowed researchers and developers around the world to use and build upon the model for their own natural language processing tasks.
So there you have it, folks. GPT-1 was a groundbreaking model that has had a huge impact on the field of natural language processing. Moving on to GPT-2. This model was released by OpenAI in February 2019, a year after the release of GPT-1. GPT-2 was designed to be an improved version of the original model, with even more advanced language generation capabilities.
That's right, Lane Galine. One of the key differences between GPT-2 and GPT-1 is the size of the model. Two Ghanaian Polas has 1.5 billion parameters, which is significantly larger than the 117 million parameters in one Ghanaian CDIS and one Pasewa.
Yes, and this larger size allowed GPT-2 to capture more complex language features and generate more nuanced language output. GPT-2 was also pre-trained on a much larger corpus of text data, including over 40 gigabytes of text from various sources.
And with this massive amount of training data, GPT-2 was able to learn a wide range of language features and patterns. making it a more versatile language model. GPT-2 also introduced several new features and improvements over GPT-1.
Yes, one of the most significant improvements was the ability to perform multitask fine-tuning, which allowed the model to learn a wider range of language features and perform better on diverse tasks.
GPT-2 was also able to generate even more coherent and natural-sounding language than GPT-1, which made it useful for tasks such as text generation and language translation. Additionally, GPT-2 was able to perform well on natural language processing tasks that it was not explicitly trained on, known as zero-shot learning.
However, despite its improved performance and capabilities, GPT-2 has also been controversial due to concerns about the potential misuse of its language generation capabilities. OpenAI initially decided not to release the full model due to these concerns.
That's right. Instead, they released a smaller version of the model with fewer parameters for researchers to use and experiment with. Nonetheless, GPT-2 remains an important milestone in the evolution of language models, and it has paved the way for even more advanced models like GPT-3.
So Nike, we've talked about GPT-1 and GPT-2, but what about the latest and greatest model, GPT-3?
Yes, GPT-3 is definitely the most advanced language model to date. It was released in June 2020 and is much larger than its predecessors, with 175 billion parameters compared to 1.5 billion in 2 Ghanaian Polas and 117 million in 1 Ghanaian Cedis and 1 Pasewa.
That's incredible. So what are some of the new features and improvements that GPT-3 has over GPT-2?
Well, one of the major improvements is its ability to learn a new task with only a few examples, which is known as few-shot learning. This allows it to adapt to new tasks quickly and with minimal training data.
That's really impressive. And I also heard that GPT-3 is even better at zero-shot learning than GPT-2.
Yes, that's right. GPT-3 can perform well on natural language processing tasks that it wasn't explicitly trained on, which is known as zero-shot learning, and it's even better at it than GPT-2.
That's really cool. And what about the language output? Is it better than GPT-2 as well?
Yes, GPT-3 generates even more accurate and coherent language output than GPT-2, which makes it useful for tasks such as text generation and language translation.
That's amazing. So, what do you think sets GPT-3 apart from its predecessors?
Well, one of the major differences is its size and computing power. GPT-3 is much larger and more computationally expensive than 2 Ghanaians or GPT-1, which makes it much more powerful and capable of performing complex natural language processing tasks.
That makes sense. And what about the range of tasks that GPT-3 can perform?
GPT-3 is capable of performing a wide range of tasks, including language translation, text completion, and even coding. One of the most impressive things about GPT-3 is its ability to perform these tasks with a high level of accuracy and coherence. For example, it can generate entire paragraphs of text in response to a given prompt, and these paragraphs are often indistinguishable from those written by a human.
Well, that's really impressive. And what about its potential impact on industries and applications?
GPT-3 has the potential to revolutionize many industries and applications, especially those that rely heavily on natural language processing. For example, it could be used to create more advanced chatbots that can understand and respond to human language in a more natural and intuitive way. It could also be used to improve language translation services and make them more accurate and effective. However, as with any new technology, there are also concerns about its potential negative impacts. For example, there are concerns about the potential misuse of its language generation capabilities and the need for ethical guidelines and safeguards to prevent harm.
Yes, that's definitely an important consideration. By the way, it is worth mentioning that OpenAI also has GPT 3.5, a set of models that improve on GPT 3 and can understand as well as generate natural language or code. GPT 3.5 models can understand and generate natural language or code. The most capable and cost-effective model is GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is optimized for chat but works well for traditional completion tasks as well.
Absolutely. It's an exciting time for natural language processing research and development, and I can't wait to see what new advances and innovations will emerge in the GPT-4.
I'm particularly interested in the mention of video processing and multimodality. That would be a major step forward in allowing machines to better understand and process different forms of media, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. With the ability to process both text and video, GPT-4 could be a game changer in a variety of industries, from entertainment to education.
I can see why excitement is building in the AI community. I can't wait to see what OpenAI can do.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how it performs compared to GPT-3, which was already an incredibly powerful language model.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, we'll be sure to keep our listeners updated on any new developments with OpenAI. Be sure to tune into our next podcast, where we'll dive deeper into what we can expect from this groundbreaking model.